Would you still be confident, Patrick, of Arsenal winning the league right now?
What do you mean?
Well, Arsenal win the league.
No, I still believe that I was expecting Arsenal to win the game today because at home against United, I was expecting them to win the game. And they didn't. I think that City had the difficult period. All those players will come back from injuries and City will do really well, I believe, at the end of the season.
You're not sounding confident here.
So it will be
blue on blue.
It's still really open. It's still really open.
Which dressing room would you rather be in now? Which dressing room would you be with the group of players you think that will win the league?
Arsenal, of course.
Yeah.
But who do you think will win it though, Patrick? If you were saying today,
I think that Arsenal have enough. Even if I'm really disappointed about the performance today. I strongly believe that they will go to Leeds and they will win the game at Leeds. I think that Arsenal have enough to go until the end and to win the title. But obviously, if they don't win the game at Leeds, there will be more pressure, especially if City win the next game.
And even
then
we're talking about
the question can change.
about-
No, I think it's one of the reasons it's been so long that Arsenal didn't win the title. I think when you look at the majority of the players here, they want to win it so badly. And of course, they're feeling the pressure and the expectation from the fan. And it's about how do you manage that expectation. And they all want to win it. I think.
So how do you manage that expectation?
I think it's to go back to basics. It's about how do you get to top of the table. You get to top of the table. That means you've been playing in the right way. You've been really positive, and not changing the attitude. And we know that Arsenal has been a long, long time that didn't win the title. I think in the last couple of years they managed to build this kind of experience. They bring quality players. And they have two good players in every position. So I think they have the squad to go and to win the title.
But that's the hard part, isn't it? The last bit is always the hardest bit.
Because they never did it. And I believe that the first time is always the most difficult one.
Patrick, can I ask you about that? Because when I first won a title, I had very experienced players who'd already won the title. And when you came to Arsenal, 98 will have been your first title. Right, yeah. But you had Tony Adams in the team, you had Nigel Winterburn lead. How important were those players in settling everybody down? Because the Arsenal players haven't got a Tony Adams or a Nigel Winterburn. How important were they to you? Really,
really important, especially when you're going through a difficult period. Because to win the title and to be playing well from the first to the last game of the season, it will never going to happen. It will have time and moment where you will lose a little bit of confidence and you're not playing well. So those kind of experiences are quite really important because they are the one who will keep the spirit higher and they're the one who will keep the togetherness together. And that is why, for me, they will be really important for Declan Rice to, because he's got the personality, he's an international player and he play with belief and he's got the strong personality on the field. They still to go back to the basics. Play with freedom and express themselves and going forward. I think the strength of this team is to create chances and to score goals, especially when they're at home. They are quite really aggressive with the ball. Some of the players need to perform as well as their best. I think there was too many players who didn't perform today. There was a must-win games for them because it was important to send the message to say that we want to win, and our performance show and send the message to the rest of the teams in the league.
Who didn't perform, Patrick, do you think?
I think Saka was too quiet. I think he's one of the, if not the best offensive players, and big games like that, you expect him to take the team and to perform. Trossard is an important player as well, but he didn't perform. Up front, I think Jesus ran a lot, spend a lot of energy, but you want him to be more focused and to be more inside the box. In the midfield, I think the only one was Declan Rice. You can see that he's winning balls, winning the 1v1. He brings a lot of energy, but there were too many players who play below their level, and when he's against United, it became really difficult to get the result. I believe that is an important year for them.
It does feel unthinkable, though, doesn't it, this season, that
if
they don't win it. It does feel a little bit like that. I understand what you mean by now or never, because it does feel like you've run that journey and you're getting closer, and then everyone falls away this season, which they have a little bit. City have never been as weak. Liverpool have gone.
The City go and get Semenyo and Mark Gay in their period of weakness.
And look, they're the danger. City are obviously the danger.
Does it matter how you win it? once you get that trophy in your hands, Roy?
No,
Is
because
that all forgotten?
no, of course not. But on the back of your medal, it doesn't tell you how many points you won it by. It's just about getting over the line. And these are tests for Arsenal. And you're on about the manager. What will he do over the next few weeks for them? Because again, momentum's a huge word in sport. But they've got a little bit of room to obviously slip up like they did today. So the manager and the staff jobs might be in the next week or two about taking it easy in training, a couple of days off. They got a busy schedule, games, obviously huge schedule coming up, big games coming up. And you say, how can you do them? How can you take them opportunity to give them days off? You do it. You take a risk sometimes. You think, well, we should be in tomorrow. But the manager, Arteta, will have to look at his group and say, well, it's not necessarily physical stuff. It's just mental. Mix things, train up a bit, lighten it up. But then again, you need your top lads performing. A few of them are just off it.
They've got a gimme game, haven't they, on Wednesday? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? They've got Wednesday. They've got a game in Europe, which obviously is not that important. But I think Leeds away next weekend's really important.
Is it a case that when you're winning?
But we played for great managers, and they were brave enough to give you days off. And there's a bravery in that because people think you should be in all the time.
People are starting to talk about the attacking numbers when it comes to Arsenal's forwards, all of whom are struggling to contribute what you would probably expect of a team that's chasing honours on 4 different fronts. Don't forget, Bukayo Saka not scored now in his last 13 in all competitions. Gyökeres without a non-penalty goal in his last 11 in the league. Martinelli not scored in his last 13 Premier League appearances. Madueke hasn't scored yet here.
They recycle it a lot, don't they? They get into position and then they recycle it quite a lot in terms of... That's the only thing I would say about them. When did they put the ball into the box? Nketiah did it for the goal. That's the only time.
I think they're overthinking everything, isn't it?
But what do you think when you see that graphic?
Well, that doesn't look good. But there's also a case where you don't panic. Some of your attacking players will go through spells like that. But if you step back and reflect and go, at the start of the season, this is the manager's job over the next few days. He's talking about the game during the week in the Champions League. Premiership is a lot different, obviously, the Champions League or whatever. Different competition, different mindset. They're top of the league in the Premiership. So that's the job, no players in the mindset. And these stats about players not scoring goals, but that can change quickly. Players, that's what happens. And obviously, they're very strong on set pieces. The big disappointment again, they've not turned up. They're giving up 3 goals. It's not like him. And 2 of them were absolutely brilliant goals. They gifted them one just before half time. So I think he spoke well. And when they've had setbacks before, Liverpool earlier in the season, they responded well. And they had a disappointment losing Aston Villa. And they responded well to that. That's the test of any team. So they're under pressure. They're at the top. They've been in brilliant positions over the last few years and they've come up short. So that might be in the back of their mindsets. So that's where the manager and the staff will have to look at them and say, look, lads, keep calm. But when they are playing, and again, particularly the last 3 league games, it has looked a bit predictable.
It's all about how teams set up against them, though. As you look at United today, they was in a low block at times, and they find it very difficult. Like Gary says, the recycling the ball and can't find that killer pass.
But they've scored 2 goals at home. Like, if you scored 2 goals at home and you're top of the league or you're one of the top teams, you still think two goals at home would be good enough to certainly get you a draw, and most times a win. When we were at United, we were trying to go for league titles. The second half of the season, the manager used to always say to us, lads, you get 2 goals a game, you'll win the league. Because you're going to be pretty decent at the back. You're going to dominate
panic though, can't they? They're the top of the league. We're talking about they've just given away massively. The 4 points still ahead. Yes, the psychological battle is.
United was a dangerous
important
game from today. It was I smelt it before the game.
You obviously know Mikel Arteta, and you've been a manager as well. I was thinking actually doing the podcast after him. What will he be saying now, and what would he be doing tomorrow morning to try and reset everything? What do you think he will be doing?
I think first of all, what you will be doing is showing the table. Because you're still top of the league. So that means not everything is to throw away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to analyze and to try to understand what did we do wrong to be losing points. And I think it's about making them understand how it's important to perform together as a team. But when you look at the performance of Arsenal's teams today, I think there is some key players who are not at their best. And that can be physical issues, that can be a lack of confidence. I don't think as a team they lost a lot, but I think the single players, individual players, not performing at that level to allow them to win games.
Even as guests here, we're putting a lot of pressure on Arsenal. I understand they want to win it, but they are 4 points clear. In terms of, we're saying, but we've just said though, Man City have not been performing at the level. Villa, there or thereabouts, but other teams might slip up as well,
Of course, yeah.
or they might have had their slip-ups
going back
already.
to Roy's point, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, it's about winning the title. We was there. We was up against your mob, United. And we had this disbelief going up against you thinking, oh, they're going to do it again. And we had a few bad results. I remember one at Everton where Yaya Toure was AFCON. And inside the dressing room, we was thinking, we've got no chance. And you have a bad result, like the guy said, it's how you react from it. It's not like Man City have gone 4 points clear. Arsenal still have a 4-point gap.
So what if we're putting pressure on them?
We're not putting pressure on them. We're not,
the question was that Arsenal is to win. Arteta's doing a good job. He's been up against Slot with Klopp's team, wonderful team, and he's up against Pep, one of the best managers. No, I'm just saying. Every game with Arsenal, they must win, but everyone else is going to triple as
Michael,
well.
To be fair, I've predicted Arsenal will win the league, but I think the fact that they've drawn against Liverpool, drawn against Notts Forest, and lost against United is putting pressure on themselves. It's not us putting pressure on them. They've dropped basically in the last couple of weeks quite a few points. They've won 2 out of 9, so I don't think it's us putting pressure on them. I actually think Arsenal will win the league and they'll come through this, but it is right that there are questions asked right now because they've only won 2 out of 9 points against Liverpool, Forest and United, and I think questions will be asked. If they drop points at Leeds next week, further questions will be asked.